Since the former face of NBC Nightly News, Brian Williams, left his show at MSNBC, he is now in talks to make a major return for Amazon Prime Video. Per Variety's Brian Sternberg, Williams is in active discussions with Amazon Prime Video to anchor an election night special. If that deal goes through, it'd be Amazon's first push into live news after years of saying it wouldn't go into the news. The LA Times reports Amazon's entry into live news coverage will be a scary move for the legacy TV networks struggling to maintain financial footing, with nearly every news operation looking to cut costs after the 2024 election. As a reminder, Williams anchored NBC Nightly News from 2004 to 2015. After admitting to misrepresenting his experience covering the 2003 Iraq War, he received a 6-month suspension and was eventually demoted. In 2015, Williams said he had previously traveled in an aircraft hit by 2 rocket-propelled grenades. He later admitted that was false after being called out by members of the aircrew. Williams insisted it was an accident and he had conflated one aircraft with another in his mind. Can journalists be rehabilitated?
Look, I'm all for rehabilitation and forgiveness, but he did a lot wrong over the course of his career. A lot of serial exaggerations. It's not just the time he said that the aircraft he was in got hit by a rocket. He also claimed he was there when the Berlin Wall came down. He actually arrived the next day, the night it came down. He wasn't. There's a bunch of other stuff.
He said he flew to Baghdad with SEAL Team 6, and then the spokesperson for SEAL Team 6 said, yeah, actually, we don't embed journalists. My favorite is Malcolm Gladwell on his podcast decided to sort of give him a little bit of redemption, saying, well, the human mind works a certain way, and sometimes we conflate memories. But that was just about that one Iraq war being shot down.
And that is true. We do conflate. Yeah. The human memory does work that way. This is why eyewitness testimony is more less reliable than you'd expect. Different people will remember different events different ways, and we remember things in ways that are favorable to us because we're motivated.
First-person syndrome.
Yeah, to characterize events most favorable to us, and we remember things that are most memorable to us. So that's all true. But like the job of a journalist is to circumvent that by keeping good notes, sticking to your script of verifiable information. Don't just spout off on things you don't remember that happened a long time ago. Refresh yourself. Reread the notes you took at the time or the stories you wrote at the time. Yeah, it can happen to all of us that we misremember in our long careers something we wrote about or said or participated in a long time ago, but you should just be professional enough to look back and then to get it right and to correct when you make a mistake, because we all do make mistakes. But this is a long history of him doing this. I'm not sure why they're turning to him, just because he's a comforting, calming presence or face for some people, for
maybe he was the cheapest bid.
Middle-aged women, I don't know.
I can't get over the fact.
Maybe he was the cheapest bid.
Seriously, I just can't get over the fact that
I would do it for cheaper than him, I'm going to guarantee.
And you weren't supposedly shot down in a helicopter, but
Never made that claim.
Was he conflating what SEAL Team 6 went through when they were shot down in a helicopter? Yeah. I think you would remember, coming out of the fire and running, and what on earth? That is not a fabrication, that's not conflation, that is wildly nuts, especially knowing that you're in the news world and you're going to be fact-checked at some point. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner, but the internet has empowered a lot of folks to finally check some of their heroes. You have a really good agent, Brian Williams, because whoever's getting you back on, and they got some money. They got a lot of money, so Amazon.
It's kind of interesting that Amazon wants to do live coverage of the presidential election. I would say there's already enough of that. It's a crowded media ecosystem. There's no shortage of news coverage. There's certainly no shortage of establishment corporate media news coverage. If that's what you're into, there are a lot of competitors already, so I don't know why they find that so valuable. Of course, we are all moving to a streaming economy, and the number of people who just have their TV on and just have it, tuned in to CNN or MSNBC or whatever is dwindling somewhat. That tends to be older Americans who have the news on all the time, whereas everybody else is looking for streaming. So I guess I can see it as a possibility, and the forays into streaming that companies like CNN have done have not gone so well.
Not so well.
Remember CNN Plus.
Yes, now they just put CNN on.
Although I did see news from today that CNN is planning to paywall the website for some users. Did you see this? It just got announced this morning. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's a big announcement from CNN itself that they're launching a digital paywall requiring some readers to pay $3.99 a month for unlimited access to the stories. You'll get it if you're only like occasionally checking in. You're going to get it for free, but for everyone else, it's going to be $3.99 per month or $29.99 per year. And here's a statement from CNN. Starting today, we're asking users in the United States to pay a small recurring fee for unlimited access. The vast majority of the 150 million users who visit CNN will continue to enjoy the same experiences they do today. Only after users consume a certain number of free articles will they be prompted to subscribe. So this is like the paywall for the New York Times or any of other media companies.
But what's interesting
hard to get people who used to getting something for free to pay for it.
100%.
Is what I think.
And it's restrictive, you know, if you want people to be more informed, and CNN, I think, has an agenda to do so and keep their brand going. I understand the business model is difficult for many of these media companies. Scripps News is shutting down. That just came out that they've had to cut 200 jobs, and now they're shutting down. But what's interesting about this model is the Washington Post is a legacy media publication that Jeff Bezos owns, the founder of Amazon, and I'm curious if there's just an ecosystem now where he can rely on Washington Post and they don't have to be fearful of their budget because it's Jeff Bezos and Amazon money, which is like endless and endless and endless. It may actually be a good thing in that news is being finally funded by some other entity that's not necessarily the traditional means of subscription only, or, I mean, we know that with Amazon streaming, it's not profitable. Unlike Netflix, which has to reconfigure all of their different schemes to get people to pay more each month, or these other platforms, like I pay for Hulu already, and then I realize I have to pay for Hulu Plus or Live to watch other shows, and it's getting confusing.
It is getting, right. I have Disney Plus, so I have Hulu, but I have to go into Disney to get it, because I still have the Hulu app from when I just had Hulu. If you click on that, it says you don't have it. It's the bundling. I know. You need like I need an efficiency expert to tell me, where I can say, these are all the things I want, and then they say, okay, these are the services you actually need. Because I'm willing to pay for them. It's just you end up paying for double or triple is what you worry about because of how the bundling works. It's starting to get confusing.
It's super confusing, and of course Amazon's going to take advantage of that and say, guess what? You pay for Amazon Prime, you get all this stuff. Yeah. You can, you know, watch the television shows and the movies, and maybe sometimes you have to pay for a movie, but you also can buy your cheap goods, like your Temu level cheap goods on Amazon. That's who they're competing with. They're not competing with other streamers and Netflix. They're competing with Temus and Sheins and the companies overseas who are offering it for much cheaper.
I have purchased from Temu a couple times.
No.
I have. You know, it's
listening to your conversations right now.
I guess so. Oh well. I mean, what are we listening to my conversations? You can please just go to YouTube and do so. Just do it the proper way. Click the button, like, share, subscribe, share a video, listen, watch. I am meant to be listened to.
Just like and subscribe us. That's all we care about.
I'm meant to be listened to. More Rising right after this.